Assalamu alaikum. This podcast was brought to you by Seekers Guidance. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Make a small donation at seekersguidance.org/donate. As little as $10 a month can go a long way.
How do we inculcate certainty that our du'as will be answered? It's very simple. First, understand what du'as being answered means, and then bear this in mind. So, a du'a is not an Amazon order, right? You can go into Amazon, order, some food, some supplements, health supplements, and they'll arrive at your door the next day or within a few days. And if they don't come, you can cancel your order. You can complain to Amazon. It's not like that. Dua is an expression of slavehood. It's saying, "Oh Allah, you're the master, I'm the slave. You have said, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ أُدْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ." Your Lord has said, call your loving Lord, caring, generous Lord has said, call upon me, I will answer you. I will answer you. He didn't say, I will give you exactly what you want when you want it. So, as one of the righteous said, Sayyidi Ahmad ibn Ata'illah as-Sakandari radiyallahu anhu, he said, even if you're persisting in dua and really pleading and begging, oh Allah, give me this, and he said, don't let you not getting what you want a means of losing hope. Even if you're persisting in dua, just because you've asked it, it doesn't mean that it's good for you, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ajaban li amri al-mu'min, inna amrahu kullahu lahu khair. The hadith in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet said, I'm amazed at the affair of the believer. Whatever happens to him is the best thing for him. So, when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if what you're asking for is not good for you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't give it to you. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you ask for something which in the moment you're in or the situation you're in, this thing would not be good for you. However, maybe a year or 2 years down the line, it will be good for you, right? So, Sayyidi Ahmad ibn Ata'illah said, فَهُوَ ضَمِنَ لَكَ الْإِجَابَةِ. Allah has guaranteed a response to you. Ud'uni astajib lakum. Call on me, I will certainly respond. So he's guaranteed a response. And the wording in Arabic, really, it's a really strong word to affirm. Yes, I will wholeheartedly respond, you could say. So he said, lakin fi makhtarahu laka la ma takhtarahu li nafsik. But he'll respond with what he chooses for you. He knows you best. He knows your future. He knows what will help you get to paradise in the best way. That's your ultimate interest. So what he chooses for you, that's the response you get, not what you choose for yourself. وَفِي الْوَقْتِ الَّذِي يُرِيدُ لَا فِي الْوَقْتِ الَّذِي تُرِيدُ. And it will come to you in the time he wants, not at the time you want. Sometimes you want, let's face it, when we ask, it's a case of, if it was a case of us getting whatever we wanted whenever we wanted, most people's dua would be everything now. Right? So sometimes things are not good for you in the moment, or sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to train you. Rabbul Alameen, the one who trains and takes people from one stage to a higher stage, right, to get to this point. So some of the people who have the greatest iman in the ummah, what's their approach, right? Oh Allah, you choose for me, and everything you choose. They ask out of slavehood to express their slavehood, but whatever Allah gives, they're happy, right? They choose. So, okay, so it's Allah will respond. How? I'll talk about in a second. He will respond with what he chooses, what's best for you, and at a time he chooses. That's the response. So in the hadith, we know that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'll give you the rough meaning, that whenever you ask Allah for something, either you get what you ask for, right? And as I said, if that happens, it's in the way Allah wants or what Allah wants, and at a time of His choosing. But either you get what you ask for, or an equivalent amount of harm is pushed away from you. Maybe you know, you want that job, or you want to marry that individual or whatever, and it's the most important thing in your life to you. Maybe you don't get that, but something just as important and just as significant uh, uh, in its in its role in your life is protected for you. Yeah. So let's say someone has one child and they really want another child, and maybe it's destined that the first child that they have is meant to die, and they're constantly praying, oh Allah, give me another child, give me another child, and they don't get the other child, but Allah changes the lifespan of the first child so they live longer, right? Or you want a job, you don't get the job, but you're meant to have an accident uh, that would leave you in hospital for months, and it doesn't happen, you don't get into that accident, right? So either you get what you want, or something equal in uh, importance of the harm of bad is deflected from you, or your supplication is saved until the day of judgment. And this is what you should understand. You want to have a good opinion of Allah, Allah will certainly give. Yeah, understand this that every time you ask Allah, oh Allah, give me this, oh Allah, give him this, oh Allah, give so and so this. Every time you ask Allah, know you're going to benefit from that asking. Either you get, or they will get, or some harm's turned away, or you'll face it, you'll see it on the day of judgment. There'll be people who see the equivalent of mountains of reward on the day of judgment. And they'll be in shock, like, where on earth has all this come from? I didn't do anything to deserve this. And then the angels will say, you asked for such a thing. That there are people who ask for things for years and it doesn't come. But what happens? They'll see the fruits of it there. And the angels will say, you asked for such and such a thing. It wasn't given to you then, it was saved for the akhirah. And here it is. And there'll be people who see so much reward. And imagine the things that you really wish for now, but they don't come. You will also wish for things in the akhirah. And there'll be things that you desire in the akhirah, and you'll get them and much, much more. And even that thing you wanted in the dunya, if you got it on a scale of 1 to 100, the happiness you felt after getting it might have been 30. But when you get what you want in the akhirah on the scale of 1 to 100, it'll be infinite, right? It will surpass all your expectations, all your desires. All your desires will be fulfilled. So, how do you inculcate certainty that our du'as will be answered? No. Whenever you ask Allah, He's giving you something, whether you see it now, or you see it later in life, or you see it on the day of judgment. It comes. There's a guaranteed response. The response, though, will be dependent on whether it's good for you or not. And it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doing you a favor. Like, imagine someone, someone wants to go and try some drugs. For example, he goes to a drug dealer, and the drug dealer knows, okay, let's say he's got some morality in him, and the drug dealer knows, this person's father or brother, and the guy says, here, give me some drugs, and the drug dealer actually gives him a slap and says, go away, you don't want this stuff, right? He's doing him a favor. He might be whacking him, but he's doing him a favor, isn't he? He's doing what's in his ultimate benefit. So it's not quite like that, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does what's best for us. So apologies for the long-winded answer, but there is some detail to this. Okay, so Allah bless you. Is it improper to ask for something very specific, and after seeing that Allah has taken that thing away from you, should you stop asking Allah for it? Okay, so it's not improper to ask for something specific. Rather, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ ud'uni astajib lakum. Call on me, I will surely answer you. So ask Allah for anything and everything, as long as it's halal, and you're not praying for some wrongdoing to occur to someone else. Ask Allah, ask away, right? It's an act of worship. It's the very essence of worship, because the person who you turn to in your greatest need is the one, who you believe can do anything, right? So that's Allah. So ask away. So asking for specific things, fine. What if you don't get it? Keep asking. You will always benefit from it. But we should train ourselves to accepting the response of Allah, trying to resist and struggle. And I keep wanting this, I keep asking, why isn't it coming? I went and did, a Hajj, and I asked and it didn't come. And I went and gave charity, it didn't come. Don't resist. Ask with the intention, I'm going to ask my master. If he deems it's good for me and gives it to me, I will do my best to thank him. And if he deems that it's not good for me, he doesn't give it to me, I will say, I will do my best to thank him. I'll say, Alhamdulillah. That's the attitude. So ask for your specific thing. Sometimes Allah turns the thing away from you. Like if you prayed the Salat al-Istikhara, you've asked for something and then problems occur whilst you're pursuing it. Alamatul tawfiq at-taysir, as the righteous say, that the sign that there's success, that there's God-given success in something, is that it's made easy. So if you're pursuing a spouse and problem 1 comes up, you fix that. Problem 2, problem 3, problem 4. There's a sign here, which means it's not good for you. So with the istikhara, people think, I need to see a dream, I need to see green, I need to see. Forget all of that. Forget your feelings. If you've done the istikhara, Allah will make the best happen. So look at a situation, pros and cons, make a decision, pray the istikhara, and then pursue. If it works out, excellent. If it doesn't work out, it's bad for you, Allah's turning it away. Once you see something has been turned away from you, then treat it as the wrapper to a chocolate bar you've eaten. You've had the chocolate, and meaning you've asked, and now what you can do with the wrapper, right? You can't do much with it, so throw it into a bin over your shoulder and forget about it. If it's not coming to you, it's not meant to come to you. And this is one of the best ways of actually even drawing closer to Allah, letting him choose for you. And it can be hard, but that's where the benefit comes from. Should we refrain from giving da'wah to people who are highly unlikely to accept Islam, as they will be held accountable once they have received the message? So for us, if someone is capable of explaining Islam properly and the situation is available, then you should tell them. You should tell them. Even if they're highly unlikely, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look, I know of a situation where someone there was a convert. He was a Hindu convert, and he went and spoke to his grandmother. She was really elderly, and she was like 80s, and her memory wasn't quite what it was. She couldn't grasp things as well. And he tried explaining to her that God is one. And she said to him, like, I wish you hadn't told me, like, I don't know what to do with this right now. She couldn't process it. So if she's never come across this concept and she can't process it, because one of the conditions of this is that for the message to be delivered, the person has to hear the message and understand the message, or read it and understand it, as long as it's delivered and understood. So if that hasn't happened, then they're not likely to be punished on the Day of Judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Imam al-Ghazali and others have said, that Allah will pardon those who the message of Islam hasn't reached, or if a distorted message has reached them. So if if this person can't understand it, then inshallah they'll be excused. But if there is a person who's capable of knowing, understanding, processing it, we should tell them. It's our responsibility. And if you don't, you may be, you may be questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or the person may come to you on the Day of Judgment. Why didn't you tell me about Islam? And you can say, well, I didn't think you'd be interested. Well, maybe I would have, they might say. They might say, maybe I would have gone away and thought about it. So if you have the opportunity, you have the requisite understanding, tell them. And, we're not on a recruitment drive, and you don't get commission. Well, you do get commission rewards, but it's not it's not something that if you fall short on, you're going to get a question. You didn't manage to convert 5,000 people in your lifetime. No, rather, telling people about Islam comes from a place of concern. We want them to have the best in this life and the next. Best in this life with a heart that's thriving with love for Allah and His Messenger, and applying the rules of Islam. If it's not applied properly, that's a different discussion, but applying the rules of Islam. So this concern for them, and you also want to save from the hellfire, which will come from them recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his true message. So that's where it is. So it's not a case of I want them in my club. So all you have to do is you have to tell them and leave the rest to them and Allah. As long as you convey the message properly, you've done your part. And so this is like if you have non-Muslims friends, then just bring up the conversation and speak to them. It doesn't have to be in this really um, elaborate way. Sometimes just planting a seed is sufficient. you know and I used to work with I used to work in a store, and there was a manager, and he was a young man, a few years older than me, and he didn't, it's clear he didn't have much of a concern for religion. So one day it was raining outside, no one's coming in, we just stood around. So I said, "So do you believe in God?" And and then he said, "No, not really." But he said, although he said Minan, his grandmother, his maternal grandmother, he said she was in hospital that day, and I remember driving back thinking, please let her get better, please let her be all right, please let her be all right. And I said, that's God you're talking to there. And which is just a fitra. So it got him thinking. And in the same workplace, there was a man, I don't know if I left before him or he left before me. There was a man, and he was an old man, maybe in his 50s, Rastafarian with long dreadlocks, white hair. He's gone old. And we got talking, and he was very, very keen on learning more about Islam and possibly entering Islam. So if you think, well, maybe they won't be interested, you don't know. And look how the prophets approached it. It's a duty, I will tell them. But there are conditions and requisites, but that's the broad gist of it. What are the signs that I am sincere in seeking knowledge? So the first thing is, make your mind up, right? To be sincere, go find a place, private place, no one there, and with your heart turn to Allah. Oh Allah, I want to seek knowledge of this religion for your sake. I want to do this act of worship to please you, and make that bond and that pact with Allah. Remember, building your relationship with Allah is very important, because you're seeking this knowledge to please Allah. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't in your life, and all you're seeing is fiqh books and aqidah books and hadith books and and so on, that sincerity is not going to come. So build your relationship, recite some Quran, listen to the scholars who talk about spirituality, directing yourself to Allah, making Allah the main focus of your life. That will ensure that sincerity spreads and permeates to everything else. So in seeking knowledge. And then I remember there's a beautiful point. Imam Dawood al-Ta'i. So he's an amazing scholar, and in many of the chains of many spiritual paths, he's one of the highest scholars. And he was a direct student of Imam Abu Hanifa, who was a master of outward and inward sciences, inward knowledge. And so Abu Hanifa once said to him, "Amma al-ala faqad atqannaha." As for the tool, the means of drawing closer to Allah, knowledge, we've perfected it, he's saying. So Dawood al-Ta'i said to him, "Fama baqi." So what's left now? If you've mastered that, he said, "Al-amalu biha," applying that knowledge. So Imam Dawood al-Ta'i, what he did, he went to his classes with Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa's teaching style was unique. He taught to build people up, as is the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to teach people so they can become independent, confident in their knowledge, which has a sound basis. He didn't want people that would just, he didn't want people that thought we've sold our soul to him and we have to do everything he says all the time. No, he was building them to be independent. So he had 40 people that were mujtahids in his class. He was training them, asked them a question. What do you think the answer is to this? Listen to their answers, then take their answers and then refute them, give his answer or support their answer. So he was training them. And you can, a very engaging intellectual environment. So Imam Dawood al-Ta'i, for sincerity, what he did is he sat there for an entire year not speaking. And you can imagine someone in this environment, I've been in similar environments, it's very engaging and it's really intellectually stimulating, talking and asking questions. He said, I'm not going to ask I'm not even going to talk. Huge, huge act of mujahada, fighting his egotistical instincts just for sincerity. So in our times, the first thing you can do, if you're a student of knowledge, go and delete those social media accounts. No Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram, nothing. TikTok, get off it all. And 6, 7, 8 years, whatever, books. And only when Allah puts you in a situation to go on social media and benefit people, only then. And I resisted for a long time, and then I was, it came to me from a number of sources, number of people saying you should, and that's only then that I start. And even now, I sparingly use social media, and there's some platforms I don't like. I just stay away from completely because of the nature of the type of discussion, arguments, and stuff like that. So get off social media. So make a firm decision in your heart to be sincere to Allah. Turn to Allah and worship Him. Develop your bond with Allah so you can be sincere. And learn about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Develop your knowledge and develop your adab, your behavior, your character. They say that, the equivalent, what's the equivalence between the two? They say your knowledge should be like, I forgot the actual statement, but let's just put it, let me paraphrase it or put it in it. Your knowledge should be like the salt you put on the food, and your adab should be like the rest of the food, right? A lot more. So, don't just focus on, learning facts. Focus on the way the Prophet was, his character, the way he behaved. And these are the means, inshallah ta'ala. And that's, when you do this, you'll come under the rubric of one of the righteous. He said, طَلَبْنَا الْعِلْمَ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ فَأَبَى الْعِلْمُ إِلَّا أَنْ يَكُونَ لِلَّهِ. So we sought knowledge. He said, we sought knowledge for other than Allah with ulterior motives. But knowledge refused to be for anyone but Allah, meaning they sought the knowledge and they kept them sincere because they were sincere in wanting to seek it. So stay away from arguments, stay away from fame and notoriety. idfin wujudaka fi ardil khumul. As Ibn Ata'illah said, bury your existence in the ground of obscurity where you're not known, because something that's not very sorry about this cough, I can't do anything about it. He said something that that's not a seed, that's not buried properly, it doesn't grow properly. So if you're seeking knowledge and then you're there posting, "Ooh, that's a nice fancy quote, I'll put that up, I'll get some likes. Oh, that's an interesting fact, I'll put it up, I'll get some likes." If that's all you're doing, then you may find you only have the likes to show for on the Day of Judgment. So developing that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah knows best. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us all sincerity. No one's it's a big need for everyone. How can I be sure my khuffain are suitable to walk a farsakh? Like I said last week, any thick socks or walking socks are sufficient, right? And if you really want to be sure, put them on, leave your shoes off, and go walk 4 miles. If they don't tear or come off, they're all right. What did you mean when you said let Allah choose? That's exactly what I meant. In the sense that you ask for something, oh Allah, give me this, and then whatever the response comes, whatever things turn out as, you say, I accept this, and you don't try and fight it. No, I really want the other thing. Oh Allah, please, why not do? No, this is what's happened, I'm fine with it. That's the appropriate. Is it improper to play the Quran when no one's listening to it, in the background when no one's listening to it? And does this recitation of the Quran ward off the shaitan? So yes, it's impermissible to play the Quran or recite the Quran out loud when no one's going to be listening to it. That's not permissible. Someone who turns away and ignores it is sinful. So therefore, do not recite the Quran in a place where people are busy with something else. Don't go to the middle of the city center, where people walk around, and they go there to relax, and then just sit there and start reciting the Quran out loud. They may not have come for that. And even in the masjid, people might want to pray or make dhikr, and if you're reciting the Quran, they can't do their worship. Keep it silent. Does the recitation of the Quran ward of shaitan? Absolutely. Reciting the Quran will has a tremendous effect, and sometimes people benefit so much from the Quran that the shaitan doesn't want to come near them because of the benefit they receive from the Quran. But generally, we know from the hadith that someone who recites various things, so like Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Ali Imran, the recitation of these surahs keeps the shaitan away from buildings and houses. So that's something you could do. So I want to be a student of knowledge. I want to be a scholar, or student of knowledge. Would you recommend first I exhaust all means in my current location before leaving? Absolutely. Before I went to Syria, I had a great deal of Arabic behind me. I had done my Fard Ain, I had learned fiqh, I had learned Aqidah. I read a lot of books that were available at the time, but I had a lot of Arabic behind me. And when I went to Syria, it was mostly for this speech. I studied a lot of grammar there in a very short time because I had a background in it, a lot of sarf. And I found there were people there with nothing. They came just like blank slates, and then they wanted to sit in a classroom for 3 or 4 months to do a course so that someone could explain daraba, daraba, darabu, darabat to them, the basic conjugation of the past tense words in Arabic. And had they sat down at home with someone, they could have learned it in 15 minutes. So do what you can in your current place. There's a lot you can learn online, and absolutely. So do that before going elsewhere.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Seekers Guidance, the global Islamic seminary. Visit SeekersGuidance.org to access reliable Islamic knowledge taught by qualified teachers. We offer a wide range of courses, podcasts, articles, and a world-class answers service. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Visit SeekersGuidance.org/donate and make a small monthly commitment today. Our beloved Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever guides someone to goodness will have a similar reward." So don't forget to share this podcast and spread prophetic guidance.